All right, guys, do we have a good one for you this week? We've got a major event that has come to an end. We've got a weirdo book, and we've got underboob. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to the weekly comic book review for the week of February 1, 2023. Before we get this review going, though, I gotta wet this whistle! We gotta wet this whistle before we get the episode going. So, this week's mystery beer drink of the week is Trippin' Animals Brewing. And this says this is a Venezuelan style Pilsner. So, let's give it a try. That is refreshing. It's a little bit thick on the tongue. It's heavy. I guess that's what a Pilsner is. It's got a very zesty flavor to it. I like it. This is a good springtime or early summer beer. I give it 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend the Tripping Animals Brewing Company beer. Thank you, guys. That's refreshing. So let's not waste any more time and let's get to this week's comic book review. All right, guys. So up first, my pick of the week. The comic that grabbed my attention the most was Dark Web Finale Number 1, written by Zeb Wells, artwork done by Adam Kubert. The artwork in this book by Adam Kubert was 80% good, 20% bad. It's a $4.99 oversized issue, so you're going to have some spots in here where you can tell the artwork just isn't up to par. But overall, I think Adam Kubert did an amazing job on this book. Like I said, about 80-20. This book, let me tell you this, little side note, if you're reading this event, if you read Venom, please read Venom number 16 first, because the events in Venom directly correspond to the events. It leads right into. So, important, guys, read Venom 16 first. If you're following that along, that's the reading order. Now, as we get here, we realize in this story, this big finale, Madeline Pryor has made good with the X-Men. You've had to have read those books, the X-Men 1 through 3 tie-ins, but she's made good with the X-Men, so they're all made up. She's got her memories back from Jean Grey. So now we're down to just Ben Reilly and Spider-Man. Ben Reilly wants his memories back. Peter Parker can't give them up. So we have the big battle that ensues. Before the battle gets started, as it's kind of going along, Ben Reilly realizes, Janie, we're not going to win this. And he kind of gives the old scythe a swoop, and Jeanie's gone. And we know she's Hallows Eve, and she's getting her own spin-off series. So we don't know where she went. Ben Reilly sent her off somewhere packing. I think he sent Rep Rap off packing too. My new dude, I'm in love with Rep Rap. That's a cool new character that came out of this series. But, as you expect, as the stakes build, as this big battle is going on, they're piling on Madeline Pryor, all her demons of limbo, and she just bust out, man. She bust out the underboob. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is beautiful artwork. The underboob is back, baby, for 2023. We're starting this year off. Starting it off stiff. Underboob is back. Great artwork. Anyway, moving on. The battle wraps up as we expect. They don't kill off Chasm. He's too good of a character. Ben Reilly as a villain, as Chasm, is too good of a character. So they've got him locked up. They've come to an agreement. And now all of a sudden in New York City, we end up with, not only do the X-Men have their X-Tree in Central Park, we've got the Limbo Embassy is now in New York City. And it's kind of funny because if you're reading the Fantastic Four as well, the Baxter Building's been blown up over there. So we don't really know in Fantastic Four what's going on. But, man, this is a good event. There's a lot of things that happened. I really enjoyed it. Finally, I enjoyed a good Marvel crossover event. The actual crossover books meant something to this event, which is a departure from what they've done in the past. So, I can't give this more than 2 thumbs up. This was a good, exciting crossover event. I can't highly recommend it enough. All right, guys, up next, we have Venom, Dark Web tie-in. Venom number 16, Legacy 216, written by Al Ewing, artwork done by somebody named Hitch. Guys, the artwork on this, it's okay. It's kind of sloppy. It's not the best artwork. It seemed kind of rushed. but I've not been impressed with the artwork through Venom. And to be honest, the story's been kind of hokey all along. It's a very spacey, timey-wimey thing. I've been lost sometimes. It's been up and down. But because this is a dark web tie-in, I think Al Ewing actually did a pretty good job in this book, tying it into the dark web finale and also just kind of simplifying the story. One thing that comes out of this that I recognize is Eddie Brock is Bedlam. He's Meridius. Eddie Brock plays 4 or 5 characters in this thing. That was kind of confusing going forward. And now we see here that Dylan Brock, he also has a couple personalities because when he's fighting Bedlam, he looks at Miss Marvel and he says, "Call me Codex." So now Dylan is Codex, and he's Venom, and he's Dylan Brock. But this book simplifies it. It breaks it down. We got Normie Osborn. Remember last episode, Codex cut off a piece of Bedlam and gave it to Normie Osborn. So now we got Normie running around with a symbiote. This was a good book. Miss Marvel, she played a cute little part in this. I don't know if this is kind of the beginnings of a little team here, but this little team up that they have works. Like I said, Meridius makes an appearance, and pretty much by the end of the book, what we have is Madeline Pryor shows up, and she's like, "Listen, Bedlam, we got the big battle going on here. I need you. Time to come back and clock in." So she snatches them, and then that leads directly into the Dark Web finale. So overall, this is my second book of the week, basically because it's tied into the Dark Web, but I had fun with it. I think Venom is going to find its footing now that the crossover event's over. So I'm excited to see what we have with Venom going forward. Up next for book number 3. I promised you weird. I've got it right here. Children of the Black Sun. I'm not even going to try to say the writer's name. Sakio, and the artwork is done by Katanosi. I don't know. But they said that the artist on this book is the artist that does Something's Killing the Kids, Something's Killing the Children. And I'm not a fan of this person's artwork. I love Something's Killing the Children, but I'm not a fan of the artwork. I feel it's lazy, kind of. And in this book, it's even lazier. The artwork is not good in this book, guys. I'm showing you some here. I'm not a big fan. But the story is good. The gist of what this book is about. Basically, we've had 2 black solar eclipses that have happened a few years apart. Some kids were conceived during this. And so we've got, say 16-year-old kids and 8 and 10-year-old kids. The older kids that were born under the black sun or conceived, they've all got powers. And the older ones are a little more advanced in figuring out their powers. And they are a little more sinister. They view the humanity around them as kind of pigs, swine beneath them. And so they're taking these younger kids under their wing and kind of show them, one of our powers here is the power of suggestion. And they take this guy and they basically make him try to put a shard of glass in his eye. And they're trying to tell him it's not mind control, but we can kind of suggest to people. So in this book, we find the young girl. Her father's a little depressed. At the beginning of the book, he was in the shed going to commit suicide. And she knows her dad's hurting and depressed. And she's like, "Papa, I know that you're in love with the neighbor, and I know you're depressed." And she's trying to work on these powers. So she tells him powers of suggestion. "Go make love to the neighbor. I want you to go make love to her." Which, that's weird. Okay, number 1. But number 2, he goes over, and this mofo creeps into the house, sneaks into the bedroom, and, instead of putting on a little, Barry White and trying to throw a little game at this lady to make the lovemaking happen, he thinks, "I'm just going to drop trowel, and I'm going to stand here proud with it, hanging out." She finds him in there. She kicks him out. He's heading back to the shed. I think he's going to blow his brains out again because he's not having a good day, okay? Let's just be honest. He's not having a good day. He goes to the shed. Well, the guy that they had putting the shard in his eye, he's beat him to it. He's blown his brains out all over the place. Guys, this book is weird. It's got some sexual overtones. We got a kid left over from the last story. His mom's got him tied down, pouring candle wax on him, telling him, "I found what you did in your pants, and Jesus doesn't like that, or God doesn't like that, and I got to punish you by pouring hot wax on you." Man, this book is weird, but I like it. It's got me interested. Book number 2 will get me to book number 3. I got to see where this is going, guys. Children of the Black Sun. It's my 3rd book of this week. It easily could have been number 2 without the Venom tie-in. But I promised you weird. This is weird. All right, guys. Up next, we have MoonKnight number 20. Written by Jed MacKay. Art done by Kapakuko. Kapakuka. Came out twice the same, so I don't know. I butchered the name, but that's who it is. And the artwork, I can say this about whoever Kapakuko is, does a great job. The artwork is always very energetic, bombastic, electric, good colors. Never had an issue with the artwork on this book. I like it. I think it fits the tone of this book perfectly. And in this issue, what we have is Moon Knight's old associates are being picked off one by one throughout the city. Some of his old acquaintances. And Moon Knight's running around trying to figure out who's doing it. And I saw these guys in last issue. They're called the Harley Quinn Hitmen. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Harley Quinn Hitmen? Am I reading Marvel, DC? What does Harley Quinn's Hitmen have anything to do with what's going on in Moon Knight? And I don't know if you're supposed to say it faster, like Harlequin Hitmen? I don't know, but they dress like clowns anyway. So that's a little confusing to me. But other than that, the issue wraps up pretty quick because Moon Knight gets a little help from our friend 8-Ball. And you know it's a good comic if a little 8-Ball's involved. You know what I'm saying? So 8-Ball helps him figure it out. And the story wraps up pretty quickly. And then we get a backup story, which we don't normally get in these Marvel books. The artwork is a little different on the back story that we get at the end, but it's basically a Blade-centric story. It's about Blade and Moon Knight tracking down some vampires. They tussle a little bit, but then they soon figure out that, hey, we're on the same page. We're going to kill these vampires. So as this is going on, we find out that the Moon Knight that's working with Blade to kill the vampires is actually a younger-looking black woman, who is Moon Knight. So I don't know what's going on. Is this the Moon Knight right before our Mark Spector? Because this takes place kind of in the 70s. So her name is Denise. Nisi is how she calls or refers to herself. So, guys, I don't know. Is this an alert? An alert. Is this a first appearance alert for a new Moon Knight? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what's going on. But good book. Guys, we've been on a run of really good books this week. Let's move on to the next. But guys, before we get to the next comic, which is the last one for the week, I want to remind everybody about our giveaway. This is our 50 subscriber giveaway. We're still hung up on 35, guys. I didn't know it would be this hard to get to 50 subs. All I want to do is give this slab away. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 310. This is Todd McFarlane art. This is a 9.4 off-white to white pages. This is a beautiful slab and a beautiful book. Guys, all you got to do is like and subscribe, be a subscriber to the channel, live in the continental United States, and listen for the key word or the phrase that I give to you in my weekly comic book review. And I'm going to give it to you right now, and you put that in the comment below. So this week's phrase word, no, this is just a key word of the week. Underboob. Underboob is the key word for this week. All right, guys, up next, number 5 is Radiant Black. This is issue number 21, written by Kyle Higgins. Artwork done by Costa, however you say that name. The artwork in this book is getting better, seemingly with each issue. Very detailed lines in here, crisp colors, crisp lines. I am a fan of what's going on. The art is getting better in this book. And the writing is getting better. This book has kind of been all over the place, but it's a new issue. I mean, this is a new comic out there, right? An independent comic. So we got a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of world building to do with, what's going on with the Radiants. Who's involved? Who's the heroes? The team aspect, the villains. There's been a lot going on, but finally in book 21, I think this book is leveling out a little bit. Man, I've been all over the place with this book, but I really enjoyed this issue because the leveling off has begun to happen. I understand. We've got an existential threat from outer space coming. The Radiants that were sent to Earth. Radiant Blue, Black, Red, whatever. All these guys, they're like Power Rangers. They have to figure out their powers, work together as a team for the threat coming, while dealing with the terrestrial threats, right? So as this is going on, this is all getting worked out. We think the Radiant, that Nathan and Marshall are sharing Radiant Black. So there's 2 humans, 1 Radiant Black. And they're trying to share the powers back and forth between them. So that dynamic, we're still working through that. It rears its ugly head in here, and the Radiant is starting to act up. It's losing power in inconvenient times, so that throws the stakes are a little high as things are building. But as this goes, the damn post office is involved. Now they're working with the post office because they got powers of arresting people at the post office for some weird reason. Probably all you bastards sending your comics through the mail, media mail, for $3 when you're not supposed to do that. But anyway, they're trying to work with the post office to get some guy named Shift and his technology. And overall, guys, basically, this was a really good issue. I highly recommend it. It's been a wild ride, but I think we're getting to a good point in Radiant Black. Well, that's all I got for you this week, guys. 5 for 5. Think about that. 5 out of 5 books were excellent books. The stories that we are getting right now, they are taking us on a magical ride. Every one of these books, I had a blast reading them. I can't recommend them highly enough. Everything gets a 2 thumbs up, a 5 out of 5. Guys, thank you for watching. Please come back again next week. Hit the notification bell so when I list some of my other videos, I've got a collection I'm going through. It's called the Rich Collection. I already uploaded part 1. There's going to be part 2 and part 3 coming. So be on the lookout for that. But guys, until we see you next week, keep collecting comics. Just make sure you're doing it the Jway. We'll see you next time. Cheers.